This episode of the Offroad Podcast is sponsored by Warren, Power Tank, and Medical Gear Outfitters.
Offroad Podcast, episode 301, Listener Ride with Joe.
Tonight, Aaron is still alive, Jeremy gets centered, and Ben buys cans of Spam.
Welcome to the Offroad Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Aaron and Jeremy, and our friend of the show, Joe L.
Joel?
Joel? Joe L?
Joe Lito Sky.
Well, we weren't going to dox you, but you doxed yourself. The Weekend Review is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to have a casualty on the trail? Check out medicalgearoutfitters.com to get straightened out. Medical Gear Outfitters has everything you need, whether you're going out for the day or traveling on a year-long expedition. Head over there to get off-road specific kits that meet all of your needs. And while you're there, make sure you use Offroad Podcast for 10% off.
You know, speaking of Medical Gear Outfitters, I was sitting there with some friends, and we were talking about first aid kits, and they're like, how many of those big ones have sold? And I was like, actually, quite a few. And they're like, really? I'm like, well, yeah, it's actually got legit medical gear. It's not just a box with a bunch of Band-Aids. It's a box with a chest seal. It's a box with the tourniquet and a bunch of other stuff like that. So it's handy.
I've already got people saying hi to Joe. Nobody's saying hi to us.
They like you more, Joe.
Yeah.
Fresh meat.
Speaking of Medical Gear Outfitters and the Offroad Podcast, did you guys see that he just picked up a Wrangler?
Yes,
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not good friends with Dietrich. You don't.
JL or JK or TJ or LJ?
Is it a CJ or is it a TJ?
It's a little farther back. No,
I'm good. You gotta look at it. It's a Renegade. So it's a
I
CJ.
think it's a CJ or a YJ.
It's in the CJ era. It's got a 304.
Yes, it's got a V8.
The only way to go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, Aaron, speaking of V8s, what have you been up to?
I for the past since the last podcast, I have spent probably half of my day in bed and the other 3/4 of my day in my recliner. So not getting anything done. The Rona has really kicked my butt. On Friday, I went to the doctor's and was diagnosed with a sinus infection also, which is pretty cool. Just, completely full of snot and everything. So they gave me some drugs, taking my drugs. Hopefully I'll get better soon. Be able to go back to work sometime later this week. Unfortunately, I got everybody at work sick as well. So they've got to
Patient
get
zero.
healthy before. Yeah, patient zeros for sure. So beyond that, I had a friend come over late last week, and we moved the Titan around on my property. Moved the Titan around and plopped the new Titan engine into the bed of the truck so I can just tow the whole Titan and the new engine over to a friend's place so I can start disassembling it in his shop. So I think I talked about that last week, that a friend said I could bring it to his shop. He's not quite ready. He's still got a couple tractors he's fixing. So I'm hoping I'll get a call tomorrow. I can drag it over there. But I've done nothing. So.
Well, I got to hang out with someone who got their V8 swap done.
Yeah, you did.
Oh my goodness. So Eric, who's been on the show, got his done. He got an Armada engine, same engine.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a 2.5-inch exhaust welded on his, because
no, it's a 3-inch exhaust.
3-inch exhaust. I'm sorry. I'm missing some of that growly, yummy noise that it makes, because that sucker Oh yeah, that's right in the money with that V8 sound, and that it's a whole nother vehicle. It's a whole new
Mhm.
monster. Yeah, it was fun hanging out with Eric and checking out his Xterra. We were acting like a bunch of teenagers hanging out in the parking lot after we had dinner. We I hit him up after I got off work on Friday because he had stopped by the shop, and I was like, "The wife's gone. I've got nothing to do. You want to go grab a beer?" So we went and grabbed a beer, and because of COVID rules, the restaurant closed at 9:30, and so we were just sitting BSing in the parking lot, and it was like, I'm like, start her up, rev her a few times, acting like a bunch of teenagers. It was fun.
So
That's
once
awesome.
once Aaron gets his V8 swap done, we'll have to have a Rev Off.
Yeah,
A
See
rev
who
off.
sounds better.
yeah, and
Well,
Aaron and I will have to go back to the desert and race again.
okay. um, so the thing with doing the Titan swap, so Eric has an Xterra, and I've got a Frontier. The exhaust doesn't bolt up or anything, so you have to have some sort of custom exhaust work somewhere done. So it's an opportunity to make your rig sound pretty killer if you can do something pretty nice. So
Yeah, and
I have no idea what I'm gonna do yet.
yeah, the
Open
guy who
headers.
did his exhaust was yeah, open headers. There you go. He routed Eric's exhaust really up there and tight. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's nice and tight and up and high. I don't know if Eric has pictures of it. He has some video. Um, but if I get some pictures the next time I see Eric, I'll share them up on the Facebook group or our Facebook page.
Well, besides basking in Eric's glory, what else have you been doing, Ben?
Well, I bought some stuff, a lot of stuff. Not really, two things. So I bought this. This is a smart tap. It's for my ambers on my Forerunner because of the LED lights in my LEDs and my headlights. I've got like a hyper flash, and so this fixes it. But it also, when I hit my four ways, I can do like a wig pattern and all that for search and rescue stuff. So it was a worthwhile opportunity to upgrade that and not have hyper flash anymore. And then uh, I bought something we were talking about last week.
A can of spam.
A can of spam. I bought myself a teardrop trailer. It's the little guy double wide, and as my friend said, it's quite fitting that it's called the double wide because I'm a big guy. Space.
Is it wider than your Forerunner?
It is. So the wheels stick out a little farther than my Forerunner's wheels, but it's not wider than my mirrors.
So how long till he smacks that into a tree?
Uh-huh.
That's a good question. No clue. We'll figure it out. But
First time off road.
Can you drag it through Tahuya?
Yes.
That would be interesting to drag through Tahuya.
The question would be why, but
you need a baseline. You got to test it somewhere.
Yeah. So it's got Dexter. I think they're called torsion axles.
Mm-hmm.
So not a single axle going down the middle. It's got the independent axles. I've found a guy online that had upgraded his to Timbren axles with the 4-inch drop ones that gave him enough room to fit 35s under there. So I think
those fenders don't look like they're going to fit 35s under them.
So there'll be some modifications needed to make that work. But I mean, it has no power. It's really just a base model with nothing. The two little black ports up front, they had gotten an heat AC 120 volt unit that you plug in at the camping grounds. So I don't know. It's a base model. It's a king size bed, so I can put the wife, myself, and the kids in there if I really wanted to, not comfortably. I don't want to. Trust me. I'm gonna put a roof rack on it and throw a rooftop tent on the roof of it for the kids. Yeah.
Is there a galley in the back?
There is a galley in the back.
Hey Ben, you sure that roof can support it?
It can.
Off-roading?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know if it can support that at all, and especially with how wide it is.
Yeah.
And
So I might go with
I'm-
I might just stick the rooftop tent on the Forerunner and get a smaller rooftop tent, a lighter one. because I can get one through work for a decent discount because of industry stuff. So I might sell my big rooftop tent and get something else smaller that's like a fabric fold in half style. Then when I go snow camping, I still got a rooftop tent to sleep in.
I kind of don't think that's going to be any lighter though.
The fabric ones that fold in half,
Yeah,
They're
heavy.
not light.
that fiberglass one is not light either.
Yeah, but like
A two-man versus that, it's a lot lighter. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me. It's a lot lighter than what's on there. That big top hat, that thing's heavy. I want smaller.
Okay. Well,
So-
my only concern is what kind of frame is underneath there, and if it's really going to be able to take an off-road suspension that you're talking about putting
So
on there.
the guy that put the Timberlands on, he also added two tubes across the frame to help stiffen it up.
Okay.
At the spot of the Timbren axles. So I'm gonna reach out to Timbren. Fortunately, we know someone at Timbren, so it's not that hard to get an email through to someone that will answer it. So we'll see what happens.
Right on.
Exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, we are too.
And then that's all I've been up to. What about you, Jeremy? You get those axles all done? Are you on 40s yet?
No, I'm not on 40s yet. So the rear is bolted, everything's bolted up except for the shocks. So I got the axle centered, I got the caster down, and then I went to bolt up the shocks with the Falcon Shocks. They kind of give you a stud to mount into the normal shock bracket, and then you actually mount the shock outboard of the stock shock bracket location. And they kind of mention, oh yeah, if you have the Terraflex 60s, you're going to have to trim the sway bar tab. So I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, this isn't going to fit with the sway bar tab. So I trimmed it up as much as I felt comfortable. I went to I figured out the minimum distance to the edge of the material. So basically where the actual pin of the sway bar would actually shear before the material yielded. So I figured that out, trimmed it as much as I could, tried to put the shocks in, and they still contacted the sway bar tab. So it's like a big womp womp experience. So I ended up picking up they actually, Terraflex sells a replacement shock mount. So basically, you cut the tabs off of the shock mount and off of the sway bar tab, and then you can either bolt in or weld in. So I'm just going to bolt it for now and then probably weld it up later, just because I'm trying to get this thing on the road. It's strong enough with just bolts, but if you want it a little bit stronger, you can actually weld it in too. So that's coming. So I got to cut everything off, and then bolt those on. And then the rear is done. And then the front is still where it was last week. It's got the upper control arms and the shocks and the springs. I still need to go through and center the axle. So I'll probably end up doing that sometime this week. So I'll be ready to kind of put it back down onto its own tires and measure for drive shafts. Probably this weekend I'll be measuring for drive shafts and putting those orders in. So hopefully pretty soon I'll be up and running again, at least on 35s.
Are you going to be able to get it out of the garage on the 35s?
I think so. I think it's going to be pretty darn close.
Are you gonna have to put down the windshield, take off the top, and then?
No, I could
unbolt
definitely
the
get it out of the garage if I just air down the tires.
Just air down flat.
Yeah.
Nice.
It'll come out of the garage.
One way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Really hope I don't have to go pull the springs or something stupid like that. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. So yeah, I can't imagine.
But you make a good point. At least I can go through and take the top off, and if I really had to.
Well, yeah, because I want to say the JK roll cage is bolted in.
It is, yeah.
It's a bolting cage. So I mean, worst scenario, you unbolt the cage and fold down the windshield.
Yeah,
I think it'd be easier to take the tires off and slide it out on furniture dollies or something. Yeah.
That sounds sketch.
I mean, as long as you don't have a super steep driveway.
Well,
it slopes.
it does slope. There's
so
a flat
perfectly
spot.
Sketch.
Hook your winch to your workbench.
No, I think worst case scenario, you just throw some ratchet straps around the frame and the underside of the axle and just squat the thing down.
Squat it. Yeah. Squat it and drop the tire pressure. You got those monster valves.
Yeah.
It's
It'll
not
be fine.
air down
It'll come out of the
bucket.
garage one way or the other.
Well, before we move to Joe, I wanted to mention here in the comments, we've got Chad and Carlos both think that you should exo cage your teardrop. Which I think
that was my first thought. That was my first thought.
Amazing.
That would be amazing.
That would look.
You exo cage it, then you could have your suspension and your rooftop tent.
And while you're at it, I would just pull the body off and redo the frame. Have you looked underneath it? Is it a fully boxed in frame?
It was it fully boxed? I think it's fully boxed. I'm like 99% sure it's fully boxed. But
all right, taking odds. What's it going to be? Is it going to be fully boxed or is it going to be not?
It's going to be angle iron.
I think it's angle.
Oh yeah, no,
It's made out of a bed frame.
It's got C channel.
They literally took a king size bed frame and then put some plywood on.
They just took some balsa wood. Yeah, not even plywood.
Yeah, lightweight.
Oh, there.
I want you to drive that thing like 100 over some whoops now, and we'll see. We'll give it a test.
Well, it's bad enough when I drive over whoops. Come on.
Yep. Well, Joe, what have you been up to in the off-road world this past week?
Okay, on the weekend, we drove to Idaho and picked up my dad's Tundra. He's got a first gen and a second gen Tundra, but his second gen Tundra is his camper. It has an off-road pop-up, cab over. That's pretty sweet with solar and everything. And the previous owner, I think they hit a deer or something, so the front bumper was cracked. And we found a guy, thanks to another guy, know a guy.
You got to know a guy.
And there's this guy in Idaho that does custom fab for Toyotas, but he'll figure it out for any rig you bring in. He did my buddy's F-150. That's how we found him. But so he did my dad's second gen Tundra, and it looked fantastic. My dad was the first one. He was the guinea pig, and got a winch in, a light bar, recovery points, and the lines really flow. So that was an enormous upgrade. Everyone's happy with that.
Does he have a company out there, or does he just kind of do it on the side?
So he has a company, and I can't think of the name, but it's kind of like a back of the yard company, and the price was really, really good because he is undiscovered for sure. He's still a couple 3 weeks out if you ever go to him, so he's busy, but he's undiscovered. And finding someone to do custom fab, full steel, front bumpers, sliders, rear bumpers, in under a month, I think is impressive.
Absolutely. Where in Idaho is he located?
He was south of Boise, and I wish I should have brought. He gave me a sticker that had all of his info on it, but yeah, it was a good deal.
If you think of his name later in the show, let us know and we'll give him a shout out.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Good guy. Good guy.
If anybody's listening, looking for some fab work in Boise, south of Boise area, you could just write it in, and we'll get you in touch with Joe, and he'll get you in touch with the right guy.
The guy.
Yeah. The guy. Yep.
The guy.
And today, my new off-road jack got in the mail, and I'm glad I don't live in a city because they did not wrap it. It's just the box, nothing, no secrets there. Pro
Yeah.
Eagle, the Beast,
Ooh,
right on the
nice.
front porch. And so it's like, yep, I'm glad I live in rural Eastern Oregon where at the end of a dead end street, so when I got home, I was like, oof, all right.
Yeah.
I have
That'd be an
been
expensive thing to disappear.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been contemplating the Pro Eagle now because I know I'm not going to be able to lift my vehicle up with my current floor jack when it goes on
Mhm.
40s.
Yeah, the stimmy check lined up just right for the
Oh,
Pro
yeah.
Eagle. And I was out of a floor jack because we moved away from the family ranch where the shop is. And so I got my garage going on here, trying to tool up this garage. And so I was like, why not get a jack that, oh, there's my dad, amped up, LLC, Greenleaf Idaho.
There we go. Joe comes through in a pinch.
His name's also Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Senior comes through in a pinch.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
So yeah, I thought, why not get a jack that can be the shop jack, and then we can also take out on the trail. So
Nice.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Definitely a good purchase there.
Yep. And the third thing was went for a drive recently to pre-run a group campsite that we have going on soon for my Two Rivers Ranch Expeditions Club. And we got stuck getting there. That spring snow, it'll get you. So there's some drifts, and we weren't aired down because we were like, there's not going to be anything out there. And then we get up to the drifts, and I'm like, we can make it over that drift. It was deceptively deep, of course, and we sank down, and it was just my wife and I, but max tracks and about a half hour of shoveling because we were fully turtled, 100%.
Mm.
There was, I'd say, like 3-4 inches of frozen snow on top, and then like a foot of powder. It wasn't even slush or anything, just powder underneath. So it just took some digging and the max tracks. We were out of there, and we checked out the Plan B campsite. And I was actually impressed. It's going to be better than the first one. It has, it gets more sunlight. So for this time of year, I think everyone will appreciate that.
Sounds like a good trip. I wish I could make it.
Yeah. We're bummed, Aaron. I wanted to pick your brain about LMTVs because that is a future investment for us, we hope.
Investment.
Uh-huh. Play toy, big play toy.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Just don't try to drive it down really tight trails.
Yeah.
I've seen the videos.
Well,
There's stuff we didn't put in the videos on purpose for liability reasons.
There.
Of course,
Well,
yeah.
you think about, hey, Aaron, you could get to the cedar tree now in Oregon.
you could. Yeah.
Oh,
Not
they
maybe.
clear cut it. Yeah.
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 Cedar
That-
tree's still there. Kind
Yeah.
of.
And that one tree you took a big chunk out of is no longer there.
No, that one's been harvested. Both of them, both sides.
Hey guys, we're looking to reach more listeners. We're going to start reading Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Offroad Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
You know, we never did hear from the guy who is upset about me shooting squirrels.
Yep.
Squirrels, not
I-
squirrels.
I did kill another ground squirrel yesterday, FYI. I think I'm going to pay my kids $1 a squirrel. If they trap it, it's even easier for me to shoot it.
Oh,
So
no.
ground squirrels. I remember that episode, but are we talking like sage rats? We call them sage rats out here.
Yes.
They would be similar to sage rats out on your side of the state. Yeah.
Okay.
They just wreak havoc on the property.
Oh, they destroy fields. Thousands of them. Thousands.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we won't get any more people writing in.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
The news is brought to you by PowerTank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
I have not seen, just to jump back to Patriot Patch, I have not seen their newest patch that they've planned to release for May, so I'm a little bummed out by that.
There's April still.
Yep, Thumper. Yep, you could still probably buy. In fact, I was just on their website. You can still buy Thumper, but I've not seen May's release yet, so that should be any day now. It seems like they release it Monday nights. Like after we get off the podcast, we'll see something released there.
And a Facebook user, you're gonna how do they get it to display their name when they're looking at it through the group?
They have to accept the term agreement thingy there.
So I think it's Brent, because he was just up there.
Gotcha. So he's saying that it's still pretty narrow. The stumps are still there. I don't think the stumps are a problem for Aaron Zillen TV.
That's true.
It was more the trees at bed height that were the problem.
Yeah.
Bed and mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, mirror.
So this first article, we got two Bronco news today. One good, one bad. The first one is they're converting 65% of their pre-order or their reservations. Is that what they called it? To a or to an actual sale. So they're actually converting those reservations to sales, which is actually a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. I was thinking it was going to be like 20%. I figured a lot of people would throw that. Was it $100 deposit or something? I figured a lot of people would throw down that deposit and then never, and it was refundable too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Was
figured
it
a lot
really?
of, I remember seeing it was refundable. I'm not sure the details on how to get it refunded, but I'm happy to see that they're selling so many, and 70% of those that are selling are actually the actual Bronco, not the sports. So I'm happy about that.
I'm every day I see somebody comment about, have you seen the new Bronco, how stupid it looks, how tiny it is, this, that, and the other thing. And I can't believe how many people think that their Bronco Sport is supposed to be the new Bronco.
Right.
There's so much misinformation out there. I feel like Ford may have screwed up by releasing the Bronco Sport before releasing the actual Bronco.
Absolutely.
Right there with you.
That makes sense. So they released it already? Sorry to interrupt. I saw a Bronco Sport over the weekend in Boise. And I was how did they get that? So
they've been out for the Sport has been out for a couple months, and people are confusing it with the actual Bronco that's coming, and they're totally different vehicles.
From my understanding is the tooling needed for the Sport, there was a lot less tooling needed versus the Bronco itself needing a lot more tooling, and I'm sure it needs its own whole factory versus the Sport. They could probably do it in like the same as the Expedition because it's a similar platform.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. I think it was a bad marketing decision.
Yep.
Do you guys know anyone pre-ordered a Bronco?
Not personally.
Personally.
The guys of the former Nissan Nation podcast, one of them has one reserved. No,
I don't think so.
I thought they had one reserved.
He may have, but I don't think he's going through with it.
No.
So, yep.
Maybe if
my buddy Brian, shout out Brian if you're watching still. He got the refund probably, or at least canceled his pre-order. But he was hyped about it for a while. But he was able to turn his Tundra into the camper rig that he wanted to, and his gearing. He got a Go Fast camper, slightly used, exactly what he wanted, because those guys are so backlogged. So he was super happy to get that. So I think it was right after he got his GFC. He was like, I don't need the Bronco anymore, and canceled. But his Tundra's sweet. It's the only 2-door 3rd gen Tundra I've seen that's like turned into a wheeler and a camper.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they made a 2-door.
Right?
Does it still have like a little bit of an extra cab behind it?
I think a little bit. And it must have been a fleet rig because it's crank windows and everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I know Kravik, his is a extra cab.
Yeah, but he's a first gen.
Oh yeah, 2nd gen. Yeah.
Look at that. They do make them. Wow. I just Googled it.
Good old Google. Good old
Yeah.
Google.
Yep.
Google.
So the last piece from this article is 60% of those that are been purchased are upgrading to the Ecoboost.
Nice.
Upgrading. Womp
Yes.
womp.
Why womp womp?
Because it's not a V8.
Well,
That's
yeah.
all.
I don't know. When I went to go pick up my axles, I borrowed my buddy's F-150, and so I had basically the same truck that he did, just a little bit newer. Before I bought my Tacoma, and I had the V8, and his was an EcoBoost, and I actually like the EcoBoost better.
I mean, I like the EcoBoost better also, but there's just something about a V8, and
That is true.
Like Ben was talking about the sound of Eric's Xterra. There's just something about it. And Ford is clever, along with probably every automotive manufacturer out there that sells turbocharged cars, where they're now piping sound into the cabin. Because when we drive around in mine, and when I get on my wife's 3.5 twin turbo, it sounds like a throaty V8. It sounds so awesome, but in the back of my head, I know I'm being lied to. So
The whole time I was driving it, I kept hearing hearing the little bit of whine, and I kept going, "What the hell is that?"
yeah.
So next article we have here. Here's the bad news. The Bronco painted roof has caused delays. So they've been having some COVID-19 related delays with the painted modular roof. So that
just
was
like your axles.
just like my axles. That paint. So they were supposed to come out in late 2021 with the modular hardtop. So anybody who ordered that was supposed to take delivery in late 2021. They're having delays, and they've pushed it back to 2022. So you can, in some cases, you can go ahead and change your order. In other cases, you can go ahead and delay your receiving of the vehicle to 2022 model year. They have said that they're going to give you a little bit of price protection, so they're not going to up the price on you. Sounds like they're already planning on a price increase for the 2022 if they're offering that at this point. And then as compensation, they're going to give you whatever their rewards points, which equates to $1,000 in free service or accessories at Ford dealers. You can get $250 voucher for the Bronco off-road driving experience. And then also they're going to throw in the optional $495 sound deadening headliner for your new modular top.
Is this a typo, or is it really called the off-rodeo driving experience?
I don't know. I copied it from the article, and I think there's a typo in there. Either on our end
because of the Bronco. Come on, they missed out.
The Bronco off-rodeo driving experience.
I don't know that.
It actually does say off-rodeo driving experience in the article.
Oh,
so
good.
That is the off-rodeo.
Very good.
Okay. It's
Man.
also the Suzu off-rodeo driving experience.
I remember, didn't the FJ? I remember seeing a very well-informed guy in the FJ world on a YouTube video discuss the different colored roof for the FJs was more expensive. But the funny thing with FJs was that the baseline FJs had the different colored roof, right? But if you got like the Trail Edition FJ, it had the color matched roof.
The
And he
Trail
said, but the
Teams
funny
edition.
Trail Teams, thank you. But
Yeah.
he said the funny thing was the base model with the different colored roof that costed more for them to do than the color matching.
Oh, of course it would. Yeah, because you're
Uh-huh.
painting two different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Interesting.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, we should talk about our giveaway for a second, shouldn't we?
We should.
We have a giveaway.
Yeah. So we announced it last week. We've got it up. We've got a link for it. I'll make sure it's in these show notes and along with last week's show notes. So if you're like you look back and you still hadn't seen it, we got it up. It's going now. So in celebration of 300 episodes, we're doing a huge giveaway.
Huge.
And if you listened last week, it's gotten even bigger. So we've got the Warren VR 10S, or Warren Evo 10RS. I'm not sure if I said that all right. A 10-pound package, a power tank setup, medical gear outfitters first aid kit, the Overlander set, and a Warren Bluetooth hub, not Bluetooth hubs, Bluetooth hub, so you can use your phone to winch in and out. And then I got a message from our buddy Matt at Tread Lightly. He said, "Hey guys, I'm going to hook you up and help you out with this giveaway. I'm giving you a $250 level membership for Tread Lightly. So you get so whoever gets this, they get a $50 gift card for Tread Lightly, the store, the Tread Lightly Ambassador branded hoodie, a Tread Lightly Black Hawk branded beanie, discount tire rebate cards, 2 of them, and a BFG rebate cards ×2.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's no small giveaway right there.
Absolutely. So what's your guys' favorite prize in there, or favorite feature of a prize in there?
So the Bluetooth hubs are not Bluetooth locking hubs.
No.
Right.
Bluetooth locking hubs.
All right.
I think I've complained to Andy about that like 4 times, and then
Every time he
actually
comes on the show.
Well, it was funny because the last time he was on the show, he parroted it back to us.
Yeah, he beat you to it.
I know.
He knew it was coming.
Or maybe
Well, I'm
Definitely
a
the
suck-
first aid kit. Not enough people have a good first aid kit.
I
Absolutely.
agree wholeheartedly.
And my favorite feature of that first aid kit is that you can strap it to a roll bar, and then it has a Velcro backing to pull it away.
You know what my
Wow,
favorite
cool.
feature of that is? That it's not just a box of Band-Aids.
You've
No,
already
my
used that
favorite
one
part
today.
is it's named the Overlander.
Yes.
That's
That's a clever
how you
name. It's good marketing.
Yep, that's on marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't checked it out yet, make sure you head over to our Facebook page or into our show notes, and make sure you go check it out and get entered, because that thing's, I mean, it's running for a while, so you got some time, but you don't want to forget.
Isn't there anything you can do? Is there any daily stuff on that?
There is no daily stuff, but maybe we'll throw something like that in there.
We should add our Offroad Podcast fans Facebook group to that as well.
Oh,
We should
yeah.
have to
We-
check that
like
page.
it.
Absolutely. So,
Join that.
well, in the next couple days, I will throw a secret code into the Offroad Podcast fans Facebook page,
Uh-oh.
and you will get
Secret
how
code,
many entries, Aaron?
10 entries.
10? I think
10.
you should do more.
Okay, 25.
All right, 25 entries, 25 extra entries for putting in that secret code. So make sure you go over there and what
Where are we going to announce the secret code?
in the Offroad Podcast fans Facebook group.
There you go.
You'll have to run over there and get it and plug it in, and you'll get your extra 25 entries.
And then I'll pretend to say it on the show. Be like the Offroad Podcast.
And it will be
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Now, I hope you were writing all that down because that whole ad is going to be the secret code. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Guys.
word.
No,
word
you have
for
to
word.
play it backwards, actually.
Oh, backwards. I like it. Actually, it's a word scramble. So you take all the words in the ad, and it's going to make one phrase that you have to put in, but you have to unscramble it.
Oh my goodness.
But it's backwards.
Send us your best unscrambling of that whole ad into a new phrase, and maybe we'll send you something.
And Patrick had a question. What if they don't have Facebook?
Sign up for a Facebook.
there's other
Oh yeah, so you can go and view it on our Facebook page without having a Facebook. But if you head to our show notes, then you can go and do it. And then there's other platforms that you can subscribe to and get entries.
Yep, there's other ways to get it. Well, Joe, we got to start this out the good old way with the Fast 5 Facts. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, new or old vehicle?
Define new or old.
That's up to you. We don't define squat.
I'm gonna say new because it's a 5th gen 4Runner.
Summer or winter camping?
Summer.
Rock, sand, snow, or mud?
I'm gonna say rock.
Favorite vehicle brand?
Toyota.
I've called it. And favorite tire?
Summer tire, BFG. Winter tire, Nokian.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got a second set of snow tires for our 4Runner actually this year after Primal Outdoors. You guys know Primal Outdoors?
Mhm.
Do you remember this year his girlfriend got in a really bad wreck going over a pass, slid on some ice, and got T-boned by a semi-trailer. And she is fine, thankfully, but she was hurt really bad because the semi hit the driver's side of her vehicle.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So
Oh,
very glad
wow.
she's doing okay. But you know, because we drive passes all the time, and the roads out here aren't that well maintained. And so it was just like you just never know. You just never know. So we got a set of studded snow tires just for some extra peace of mind.
Yeah, winter tires are legit.
But it was hard. It was hard to find a tire, a studded snow tire, in the size and the weight rating that we needed for the 4Runner. There was only, and perhaps my shopping skills aren't as good as some other people, but I could only find 2 snow tires that were 285s and were the correct, like a truck, weight rating.
Like
And
a
it
load
was
range.
Yeah, correct.
Load range
The
D
correct
or
load
E
range.
or whatever.
Because you could get Blizzaks for 4Runners. I know a lot of people run Blizzaks on their 4Runners, but it's not a truck load rate.
Well, can't you get the what are they? The Nitto grapplers in a snow where it's studded?
I think
it-
it's
that's what-
studdable.
Studdable.
Yeah.
That's what Andy and Mercedes had for the Alcan.
What size?
Pajero.
Pajero size. So yeah, that's a good. But But
So
I
like
think theirs was
24s.
no, I thought theirs were 33s though.
I think they are 33s.
Yeah, so
Okay. So the
My-
two that I found was the Nokian Hakkapeliitta LT3, and they go all the way up to 35s.
Wow.
Studded snow tire, E range, and the studs are stainless steel, so they don't rust. They're put in at the factory by a machine, not just some guy with a gun at the shop, and the studs are like a diamond kind of shape for directional traction. So we were happy with that. The only other tire that I found was the Cooper. I think it was like the Snow Claw or something. Cooper Snow Claw. But anyway, so yeah, two favorite types of tires. Long-winded answer.
Very. Well, let's talk about you. How did you get started off-roading?
Off-roading. So I grew up on a ranch in Dayville, Oregon, and so doing ranch things, you're just off-road. And our ranch truck was a Chevy Blazer with the top off that we would drive through the field burning or running stuff back and forth, that kind of thing. And then I also grew up in South Lake Tahoe, so I got a ton of snow driving in. And my dad had I think it was a Chevy with a snow plow on front, and we plowed the neighborhood and stuff like that. And but more recently, when I moved back to Eastern Oregon, because I went to California for my first degree, when we moved back to the ranch in Oregon, I got my family's third gen 4Runner, and I started exploring the national forest land all around the ranch. We're super lucky. We're surrounded by 3 national forests and something like probably like 3 million acres of public land all connected. We got the Ochiko National Forest, the Mount Here National Forest, and then to the north is the we don't go here much. I can't think of it, but it's northeastern Oregon, and it goes into Washington a little bit. But so started hitting trails.
Is it the Umatilla National Forest?
Yeah, Umatilla. Thank you. So started hitting trails with the third gen, and progressively, you don't need much to get started, but once you get going, you just can't stop buying stuff and upgrading, man.
We have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
terrible problem. You have no clue what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
No, not one bit. So, what was the first vehicle you were taking off-road?
First vehicle off-road was, as a kid, probably that Blazer, driving on the ranch. My own vehicle, it was a 1992 4Runner, so a second gen, the 3-point slow. And I took that off-roading every once in a while.
So I know we're talking about Joe, but I'm going to talk about Aaron for a minute. At dinner tonight, we were discussing selling my son's little $600 dune buggy thing because it was just kind of a placeholder because we were talking about doing a kid's side by side, and I told my wife that we should just buy him a full-fledged vehicle, just like some small Ford Ranger or something, just to drive around the property because it's so much cheaper than a side by side. And then my wife is just, she's not sure about buying our 8-year-old son a Ford Ranger or something like that. But then my daughter, who's 7, sorry, my son is 10, not 8. My daughter, who's 7, says, "I want one too. I want mine to be teal." So I told her that I'll buy her a teal pickup truck. So So I just at dinner tonight announced to my wife that we're buying our kids full-size trucks.
You get a truck. Now you get a truck. Now, Joe, this next question, this one's probably really easy to guess if you're watching. But what do you drive now? And could you tell us the history of how you got it?
Yes, sir. Gladly. Excuse me. I drive a 2015 off-road premium 4Runner. That's sitting right behind me, affectionately called Big Red. Because she's big and she red. And a few years back, we were looking at building out our 3rd gen 4Runner. You know, getting winch, bumpers, sliders, the whole 9, because we were getting deeper and deeper into the woods for camping and exploring. And we decided that was just too expensive to build a vehicle. Why not try finding a vehicle already built that somebody else put all the labor and stuff in on?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, of course there's risk with that because you're putting your faith into the work that they did, and the maintenance that they did. So I posted on, I think it was just like Toyota 5th Gen 4Runners Club on Facebook, which is a nationwide club that has like 50,000 members. And I just asked, does anyone know of any built rigs for sale? And I got a ton of replies really fast in all the comments. And so there you go. They did all the work for me. You know, a good strategy for anyone else thinking out there. Just find a club, and because people know people. And went through those. I talked to a handful of people that were selling their rigs and posted them. Then one guy showed up, or he commented that C4 Fabrication was selling their 4Runner. And what was attractive about that for us was it had, you know, the things that we wanted, first of all. But second of all, it was owned by a shop and a professional fabrication company. So we were like, okay, that kind of satisfies the whole, like, oh, did they do good work? Did they take care of it kind of thing? And so I contacted C4, and the rest is history. But that is not how Big Red started its life, because it was born in 2015. So the first owner of the 4Runner was Firestone Tires, the manufacturer. And they used it as their flagship vehicle for their new mud tire that they were putting out, the Firestone Destination MT2. And
that's not your favorite tire?
I wouldn't have put that tire on if I had the choice. It's not a bad tire. But and I thought about, like, do I get any kind of discount to keep it going, guys?
Nope, nothing.
So they partnered with C4 actually to build out the 4Runner, and then C4 bought it from them and continued to use it for R&D for their products. And if you go to C4's website and shop for 5th Gen 4Runner stuff, you'll see a ton of pictures of it. And if you look up YouTube, Firestone Destination MT2, or just look at Firestone, their YouTube channel, you'll see the commercials that the 4Runner was in, which was just kind of a fun thing.
Has anyone recognized your truck and said, "Hey, I saw that on TV"?
Not TV, but when we were in Bend, the first day we bought it, we were at CVT getting the rooftop tent installed, and someone pulled up and they were like, "Oh my God, this is the C4 forward." Huh. I've been drooling over this on their website and their Instagram for like 2 years.
Wow.
And they were like, what is it doing here? Because they're in like South Dakota. And it used to have a big C4 fabrication, decal.
I was just going to ask you about that because I was looking at the pictures you sent us, and I see it says Firestone, has the Firestone logo on one back on one corner, and on the other side it said C4.
Correct. Yeah.
Took all that off, huh?
Yeah, so C4 took off all the Firestone stuff, and we took off the C4 stuff. I procrastinated taking it off for a while because it was winter, and I was worried about, because there's the graphic of the mountain range, and then they had their decal on top of it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to pull off the graphic of the mountain range underneath it in the cold weather kind of thing, because my garage at the ranch and the shop was uninsulated.
Why ruin the really cool graphic that's on there? Because that is really awesome looking.
Yeah.
Thank you. I go back and forth a lot, like to take the mountain range off, but we're keeping it for now at least.
Good. So do you have a most embarrassing moment on the trail you want to share?
Oh, sure. So a couple years ago, in the fledglings of the overlanding club that I run, which is Two Rivers Ranch Expeditions, my father and I were pre-running a trail the day before a group event that we had going on at the ranch. And it was a group camp out at the ranch in February. So freezing cold, lots of snow. And we got caught deep in the woods in a horrendous flash blizzard. No one knew was happening because that's mountain weather. And we were at the bottom of two steep hills by the time the blizzard was in full force. And we had a choice to try getting back and drive like 50 miles out, or pushing through 11 miles. And we tried pushing through, and it was the wrong choice. It was way worse. And we gave it a really, really good try, plowing, and full chained up on the 4x4s. That was with the 3rd gen and with the 1st gen Tundra. And we just got stuck. And this was before I had the InReach. So before I left, I told my wife, if you don't hear from us by 8 p.m., call search and rescue. Because we expected to be back by 4 o'clock. So I'm like, 4 hours leeway to let us have a good try if we get stuck to get out of there. But sure enough, we never showed up, and she had to call search and rescue. And that was a heck of a night. And then the next morning, I still did the event. And we did not do that trip. And both of our vehicles sat there for 7 weeks, trapped in the mountains. Yeah.
Wow.
And I have a video on my YouTube channel of us recovering them. 7 weeks later, I posted on a couple clubs trying to get some wheelers to come out and help us bust through the spring snow and get them out. And no one would make the drive out, which is, understandable. But I'm only like 2 hours, 2.5 hours from Bend. And I figured the Land Cruiser guys there would love a chance to go snow wheeling, but they just didn't want a trailer that far, and I get that. So I had a buddy in Eugene with his Dodge tow rig on 35s, and he was just like, let's give it a shot. And it wasn't that bad, actually. It was only the last 2 miles that was a ton of snow. And we busted through. And you see in the video, I get to my 3rd gen 4Runner, and it starts right up, no problem. And I just drive it out like nothing happened.
Nice.
7 weeks in the woods.
Did you guys just have the one rig out there, or was there 2 separate rigs?
Oh, no, my dad's 1st gen Tundra was out there too.
Did it start it up too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And
It started up, no problem.
Nobody stole your wheels or anything like
pirates?
that?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
That's
we
great.
were the first people to get to those vehicles. Well, not the Tundra. The Tundra you could get to, but the 3rd gen made it a lot farther than the Tundra. But we were the first people to get to the 3rd gen Tundra in a wheeled vehicle. Of course, snowmobilers, and there's actually a guy that lives out in that forest. He's got a nice chunk of private land, and he has a small airplane that he flies in and out to like get groceries. And in the winter, he has a Samurai fully tracked that he drives in and out on. And he is a cool dude. And so throughout those 7 weeks, every time he'd drive by on his tracked Samurai, he would just take pictures of our rigs and send them to us to keep us updated.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's great to hear that nobody messed with them while they're out there.
We live in a pretty good spot out here. And it's common practice, for hunters, or when my buddies go shed hunting also all spring. When they park their truck, they leave the keys in the ignition, because they're like, if a log truck is coming down and they need to move my truck, it's there. And that's a common thing.
I think if you did that out closer to the coast, the vehicle would be gone.
Yes. You'd be walking home.
Quick.
Yes. So I think the biggest win might be that the vehicle was still there untouched. But what do you think your biggest win on the trail is?
That's a good one. Everyone was very happy to get those rigs out after 7 weeks. I think the biggest win was doing the Washington backcountry discovery route, the whole thing, in one go with my dad. 2019. Yeah, that's not last year anymore. 2019.
Is that
and it was a great trip.
Is that the year you and I went, Jeremy?
No, we went like 2018 or something like that.
Time's flying. It's getting old. So what's your favorite place to wheel?
Probably a mix of the Malheur National Forest and the Ochako National Forest. They're both endless as far as we'll be exploring for the rest of our lives and finding new stuff and new places out there. And there's so many homesteads and abandoned mines. Like it's a overlander's dream for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love that part of the state. Is there any places that you want to go that you haven't been?
I was thinking Canada. I hear British Columbia, there's a lot of really great, it's more sightseeing wheeling as far as, instead of like, I don't know, hardcore wheeling is pretty gnarly out there, too gnarly for us, but we're thinking British Columbia next.
So kind of give us the quick build specs on your rig.
Definitely. So the 4Runner has a Dobinson suspension and a remote reservoir, and it's adjustable. And it is currently sitting on it's 34-inch Firestone, those mud tires. And I don't knock them. I just want to switch. This is their last summer on them for sure. They're pretty worn down. And it's C4 everything. C4 front bumper, C4 skids, C4 sliders, C4 rear bumper, and it's the swing out, which is really nice with the table, and it holds max tracks, some fuel tanks, and the spare. And I'm trying to think, 488 nitro gears. That's a must. And the lights up front are Baja designs, which are extremely nice. And there's lights underneath too. It has lights built into the skid plates actually. So it's not like rock lights like people do in the wheel wells. So they mounted these lights along the skid plates along the bottom in angled locations with a low chance of making contact with things.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm just trying to think. We haven't done much. We just did the rooftop tent and the trash room and put our sunglasses in it, is what Coy said when I bought it. Coy was like, "Man, that thing looks like you just need your sunglasses in it."
That sounds like a Coy phrase.
What rooftop tent did you put on it?
It's the CVT, and I think it is the Mount Shasta hybrid, and super great, very comfortable. The only con is the con with every soft top rooftop tent, and that's that if it's windy, good luck sleeping.
And it can get windy in Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, and we camp a lot. There's only been 2 nights where it was so windy and the rain fly and everything was just slapping. We couldn't sleep. So overall, it's not a deal breaker for sure. The best thing about it is that both of our sleeping bags and a blanket is folded up in there, so we never have to pack and unpack the bed. That's
Nice.
a huge plus, because that's always a bummer trying to stuff the sleeping bag and the whole nine.
Is there anything you still plan to do to it, or are the sunglasses good enough? Are you upgrading the sunglasses soon?
Upgrading the sunglasses soon. Yeah, stay tuned. Actually,
Going for the Oakleys now.
it is. She needs a rear diff breather because one of our go-to campsites, there's a pretty good water ford to get there. So I'm thinking the diff breather is a must, and that's a cheap mod. I think it's like $70 for the ARB diff breather.
Yeah, ARB has a set. Ironman 4x4 has a set too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely, if you're in the water, I mean, it's better to have diff breathers instead of having to clean out milkshakes out of your differentials.
Yeah, much cheaper and easier.
Yeah.
We were thinking a snorkel because of the dust, because the intakes on these vehicles are right there. The intake is in the wheel well, basically.
Oh,
That's
why I
Ben
got
knows
my-
all about that.
I know
Yeah.
all about that. I turned out my fenders because of my bumper, and it was just wide open, and it was just sucking in dust. And then small little furry animals were crawling in there and eating my air filter. So yeah, and it was fun when we were on our Nevada trip. I would take off my pre-filter and pour it out across my hood like a vacuum commercial. Be like, you see this? This is not in my engine. So,
Yeah, and besides a new set of wheels, I'm gonna wait for Black Friday sale for wheels this November to mount the snow tires to, and then at the end of the winter, mount the mud tires to the other set of wheels, the new mud tires we're gonna get. So I don't have to go to Schwab's and pay money for them to dismount, remount.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that takes a beating on your wheels too, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Have you? Do you know what wheels you want to go with?
Yeah, we're thinking the Method, like 701s with the trail. Or was it? It's like the bead grip technology.
Yes.
Because we the second we hit dirt roads, even if it's a nice Forest Service road, we air down to like 14 psi for comfort right away. So of course the extra confidence is always nice with that.
Yeah.
You could go a lot lower with those.
Oh yeah, a lot lower for sure. We've been airing down to 14 on the stock wheels on my 3rd gen, on these wheels, for years, and have never had a problem. But
Yeah, I've heard of people going like 4 psi with those bead grip, with those methods with the bead grip.
that's awesome. Great for getting stuck in the snow, having to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thanks, Joe, for joining us on the podcast tonight. It was awesome to hear the story of your Forerunner and where it came from and the adventures. I didn't realize that you were so close to me. For some reason, I thought you were up in Eastern Washington. So,
Oh wow.
cool. Yeah, kind of cool to have a close neighbor. Not super close, but but you definitely wheel out in the area I like to go. So I hope that we can get together in the future and stuff. Do you have any social media that you want to shout out? You mentioned your Facebook page.
Yeah, so we don't have a Two Rivers Ranch Facebook page. I have been going back and forth on making one. So far, I've just been, if you want to join us on any of our group campouts or group expeditions, Two Rivers Ranch expeditions, you can add me as a friend on Facebook, and then I have a invite list going of overlanders that I'm friends with that I send out invites to. I also have an email list, and my email is the number 2, then riversranchx@gmail.com. And then on Instagram, we are 2 Rivers Ranch X on Instagram to check us out. And we're not super active as far as posting, with working full time and remodeling our house also right now. But as far as responding to messages, and now it's camping season, we'll be going on more trips. So feel free to add us.
Wait, people stop camping?
Only when I'm working on my rig.
Yep.
I've got a buddy who actually is just building a house outside of Prineville, your direction, who's big into off-roading and things. So I'll have to mention you to him, and you guys can tear it up out there.
Heck yeah. And if he needs to be pulled out of the Ochicos or something, give me a call. Or vice versa. I need guys like that too, obviously.
He
Obviously
loves stuff like that.
Obviously, after what was it, 7 weeks in the woods or 17?
Yeah, 7 weeks. 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a good. I'll send you guys maybe on Messenger or something. I'll send you the YouTube link to my recovery of that.
Perfect. I'll throw it in the show notes for our listeners.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Well, before we close out, we just wanted to say thanks to everybody who listens to us weekly, and definitely thanks to those who watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. I think that's everywhere. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to us, and please share us with a friend, and that really is what helps us grow. And before we head out, I just wanted to say, God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power Tank to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv or through our social media channels by searching for Offroad Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening.
Aaron, have you died of the coof yet?
Twice.
Twice.